It's the key. No more starving, getting rid of inflammation. Choosing healthy choices, providing you with sound information. Bringing balance to hormones and insulin through food. With DFL, teaching you food choices to see it through. DFL, we're teaching you to eat food right. Teaching you to pair food with each bite. Balancing our body's microbiome, feeling so right. With diet-free life, the health futures lose by.
What's up, everybody? Hey, this is Robert Ferguson, Diet Free Life. I'm excited and delighted, as always, to be here live. And I love that song. One of my clients actually created that song for us. And there's a shorter version, and then there's a shorter version. But I just like it. And it's not an ego thing. I just like it. He did a great job. So big kudos to you, Dennis, who's also in the 8-week fat loss challenge. I am in it. I'm thriving in it. I feel good about it. My waistline is feeling good. My energy is good. Man, anybody and everybody would benefit from our 8-week fat loss challenge. We do it every year. I kick it off in January. Every once in a while, I'll do another one, probably toward the later part of the year. But I love it. Like for me, not drinking alcohol has been great. I love that. Has it been easy? Kinda. Like the first 3-4 days was like, then it was smooth. And then when the Super Bowl came, I was sitting there going, you know what? Hey, it's been 14 days. Have a glass of wine. What's the big deal? And I'm so proud of myself because I didn't do it. Could I have a glass of wine? Of course I could. Do I teach people how they can enjoy wine? Of course. It was my challenge. Now, some people are able to have wine right now in the challenge, and that's fine. But my challenge for me was, no, I'm not going to have wine. Not going to happen. Not going to have alcohol. That's my challenge. So I think everyone finds something that is a challenge for them, and they make that part of the challenge, and that was mine. So I'm very happy to say out loud how good I feel. And I hope those of you who are in the challenge that you're feeling is good. And I look at your comments and in our community, and hey, I'm so proud of all of you. I really am. And for those of you who are thinking about doing a challenge, hey, reach out to me. Even though you didn't start with us in this challenge, we had 23 people start the week after. We have more people actually starting this coming Monday because the people who are in the challenge are getting such amazing results. They're telling their friends, and now we have more people. Literally, like last week, we had 23 new people that joined the challenge on Monday. This week, it's getting close to about 40 new people that are joining the challenge starting this Monday. I've never experienced this before. This is the first. And it's mind-blowing because people are sharing with other people. Okay. Anyway, today we're going to talk about cholesterol. And I am so excited about this talk. I asked Susie Lopez, who's a nutritionist, health and weight loss coach, if she would join me. One, because she's a coach and she helps people. Two, she's my friend and a partner, and we're seeing amazing outcomes with things that we're doing. And three, I watch her HDL cholesterol, which is considered the good cholesterol, go up like 16 points. I literally shared this with someone who's a scientist at a major university. I literally, before we went live, shared Susie's results about her HDL cholesterol with a scientist, a person who is in the business of health, well-being, studies, clinical trials. And I said, hey, I just wrote an article about how to increase your HDL cholesterol. And the scientist was like, oh, I said, yeah. And I said, when I hang up from you, I'm going to do a live and I'm going to bring on someone whose HDL went up 16 points inside of six months. She's like, what? Now, okay. The reason why I'm sharing that with you is because when you understand what HDL is, okay, when you understand it, when I talk to my clients and I say, hey, your HDL numbers are going up, their response is like, oh, okay. Right? They don't understand how important and how unbelievable that is. Like, I'm sitting here going, if your HDL goes up 4 points, I'm jumping up and down. To see it go up 16 points, like everyone should just, I'm sad that people don't understand the importance of this. Anyway, you know what? I'm gonna bring Susie on because it helps me stay sane. Like, to talk to someone who understands how important this is. Anyway, let me help myself by bringing on Susie. What's up, Susie?
Hey, Robert.
I mean,
I'm like laughing in the background.
I'm sitting here like, I know you get what I'm saying.
Yes, I do.
But Lord knows we want to make a difference. Lord knows we're in the business of helping people. And when you come across something that improves many things, and we're talking about HDL cholesterol, and you work with people, say, hey, they say, well, what can I do to get my HDLs to go up? And I go, well, exercise, but you got to get to that point where you're in shape enough where you can you can get out of breath and you got to really get in shape to get your HDLs to go up 2 points.
Right.
Eat a little bit of beef, a little steak once a week. I've seen people do that and their HDL goes up a little bit. I have never, Susie, in 30 years of doing this, seen someone like you who was aware of HDL.
Yes.
Watch your HDL from a 46 go to a 62.
Yeah, I was shocked myself because of the journey that I was in with this, just understanding it, wanting to improve it. And so when I saw those results, I said, how? Like, I was very shocked by the short amount of time it took to improve it within 7 months time from when I started to use the balance oil. So yes, it was a good surprise, but it was almost like I got a little mad too. Really, so all I needed to do is have an adequate intake of omega-3 with polyphenols. That's how I felt at the same time. So, yeah.
Okay, so those of you who don't know, all right, so when you look at cholesterol is very important for many things in our body. But we live in a world where a lot of the dietary advice is to keep your cholesterol under certain numbers. And when you go to the doctor, if your cholesterol is high, in their words, they want to put you on a statin to bring down your cholesterol. And then the statins, there's a whole bunch of negatives that go with that. I'm not going to go into, but nobody wants to be on a statin. Nobody wants to be on more meds.
Right.
And part of your cholesterol health is your HDL cholesterol, which plays a huge role in keeping you healthy. And when you get your cholesterol numbers, if your cholesterol numbers are low with HDL, then that's a red flag. And Susie, in the last few days, I've had 3 of my clients all have very low HDL in the red area, like they're red flagged.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there going, wow, all they need is balance oil.
Yes.
And if they are like Susie and 34 of my other clients, and that's growing, by the way, all 34 clients, Susie, on average have increased their HDL by 8 points. All of them. So I can't wait to see what you discover when you go back to your clients and say, all right, you guys, those of you who are taking the balance oil, can you get your lab work before you started taking the balance oil? And then can you send me your lab work after you have been taking the balance oil? And then when you get it, Susie, just focus in on the HDL.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
and all 34 of my clients that I've done this with, to include you, all of them have increased their HDL by at least 8 points.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. And like I said, as I learned about this, and maybe that's something we want to maybe cover, because maybe there's people at home thinking like, okay, well, what's the big deal? Like, what is HDL? Why would we want to increase that? Um, because I think that's part of it, right? Is understanding, having the knowledge on what it all means. But I know that just with my personal journey is I really felt I was really frustrated. I was frustrated because I felt like I was not doing something right. I was exercising, I was getting a little bit more red meat in, and I just felt like, okay, like, is there something wrong with me? Because I don't think I'm like unhealthy. Like, is there something that's not working right here? So um and so it's just crazy. It's crazy to see such a huge change, improvement, in such a short amount of time, with the balance oil. So you guys can see my results there. But yeah, I mean,
Well, Susie, let's look at your results. Okay.
yeah.
So if you look at your results, let's make it a little bigger. If you go back to the very bottom, it says July 8th, 2015. Your HDLs was 44. Now,
Yes.
you're not under 40, so you're considered okay. And then in 2020, 5 years later, you're 46. Then in 2021, I think that's around the pandemic, maybe you picked up the
Hmm.
exercise, you're 49.
Hmm.
Then in 2023, you're 46.
Right.
And
And that's what's strange right there, Robert, because from 2021 to 2023, I really picked up the exercise. Like, I was always working out. Even in 2023, I started working with a personal trainer. So I did a marathon. So I felt like, okay, I may not have, maybe like the perfect body, or like I'm not in perfect shape, but I'm working out. I'm trying here, right? And so I feel like some things got to go up here. And for me to get that result for a 46, I felt defeated. I really did. And I think I came
so
back
you were
to it.
actually really focused on your HDL. Like you were like,
I really was.
now but at that point in your life, like what made you focus in on HDL?
Understanding that, one, if the higher the HDL, the better for your heart. It's a heart healthy thing, right? So when we talk about, one of the things that we look at if someone has insulin resistance, or metabolic syndrome, if their HDL is low, that's not a good thing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
mine wasn't like you just said, mine wasn't under 40. So I wasn't like super worried, but at the same time, I'm like, but it's not that high. And I had seen other clients of yours who are in the 60s and the 70s. And I'm like, I want to get there. Like, I want my numbers to be in that range. And so it was just more of like a personal thing that I wanted to accomplish. And so I did feel frustrated for a little while, um, being in the same range like over and over. So, and I don't know that I share that with you much, but I was frustrated.
No, I mean, I think it's really cool that you were aware
Yeah.
of that, because most people who would hear us have this conversation do not Like their doctors don't talk about HDL. They talk about LDL and how that being high puts them in a position where they should be on a statin, which is a whole nother conversation, which I cover in the article that you guys can all like click on the link below, look in the description. You can click and download it and have it. You can print it out, take it to your doctor so they can see it. But you want to understand this if you're talking about your health. And so the fact that you, Susie, were like focused on how can I increase my HDL, and then you're 49, then you're 46, and like you said, you felt defeated. Then you get lab work. So, in April of 2024, actually March of 2024,
Right.
you get introduced to the balance oil.
Yes.
And you start taking it.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, was there any other changes? Did you exercise more?
No, actually, everything was about the same. I can't really say things changed up a lot when it came to my exercise. My diet was still about the same. And I actually got behind on blood work because I like to do it like in the spring, maybe beginning of summer. And I got a little behind. So as you can see, I barely got it done in November. But I'm kind of glad because I don't know what we would have seen, right? Since I had just started taking the balance oil in March. But yeah, from March till November, it's about 7 months or so. That's that's what happened. So, I mean, there's no other explanation really for why it went up like that that I can think of. Yeah.
I mean, that's significant.
Yes, it is. It's very significant. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like,
And I'm proud of it. And I'm proud of that number now, right? So I'm looking at it.
No,
Like,
I mean, hey,
I'm 62 now.
I mean, I'm
exciting,
proud
yeah.
for you. I mean, I'm sitting there and looking at your numbers when you shared it with me. I was like, you know what? Let me go. And so I pulled up my clients. So it was 34 in total. You were part of the 34. So there's 33 other people, and I had their lab work. So I looked at their lab work and I went and looked at their HDL. And then I was like, okay, so now they've been on the balance oil for at least 4 months. Then I looked at their scores, their HDL. I was like, damn. Everybody's HDLs went up.
Everybody.
Okay, how can if you understand the importance of HDL cholesterol, how can I be silent about it? You know what I mean? Like I'm challenged with how do I get more people to realize how this can help them without coming across like I'm just trying to sell them.
Right.
You know? Because this is mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, I mean, if this is just something that the doctors would talk about, right, in that conversation, like how do you improve your good cholesterol? Because that's still how they call it, right? That's still how it's known is the good cholesterol. And it's like if the doctor were to just have that conversation with us and say, well, you can do things to improve it naturally, your good cholesterol. So I don't know. I mean, I know that I never had that talk with the doctor. So yeah, I mean, it's just like you're saying, like how can we help people understand how huge this is, right? So when I talk to my clients and I try to explain what HDL means, what LDL means, what triglycerides means, because typically, the doctor will look at your total cholesterol, but they don't explain it. They don't break it down and what it all means. But I like to think of HDL as like the cleanup, almost like the street sweeper, right? Like they're cleaning up what's left, on the streets. They're trying to get rid of that. And then I think of LDL as like the delivery system, like Amazon, like they're delivering, the packages where they need to go to their destination. So they're both important, but this talk isn't being had, with the doctor. Not that I see or hear. It's usually like, okay, how do we lower your LDL? And then the statin conversation comes up. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you some questions to help people.
Yeah.
All right. We all understand. So let's say even those of you who are not completely aware of HDL cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, very low density cholesterol. I mean, like there's a lot to it, and it can be very confusing. So we're talking about what will improve your cholesterol, which means reduced risk of stroke and heart attack. So those of you, like if you're 25, 28, you came across this video, okay, I'm not talking to you because you're not even thinking about that.
Yeah.
But you got someone who's 40, 45, 50 plus. They're like, well, shit, I know I have a good friend who went to bed one night and had a blood clot, died, and they found her dead. I mean, like, as you live, I don't know about you, Susie, but in my experience, and you've seen me post this many times on Facebook, I have had literally hundreds of people that I know die prematurely, meaning they died and they could still be alive, but they weren't even aware of HDL cholesterol. They were not even paying attention to their levels of omega-3. They were just living. And, like one of my buddies I was thinking about today, they found him dead in his apartment. And they figured it was around a certain time because they saw a toothbrush next to him when they found him dead. He had a massive heart attack and died. So he was walking around the house in the apartment, brushing his teeth, getting ready to go to work, and he's gone. Then one of my buddies, Simon, who I invested some money with, went and saw him in Indiana, met his son, who's 7 years old. And Simon, I talk to every week, Susie. Every week I talk to him. And every week we talk, he goes, hey, man, I'm going to come to Ventura, and I'm telling you, I'm going to get a hotel once I get my business going, and I'm going to get this weight off. So he's 6'4", about 400 pounds. So I talked to Simon on Tuesday. Simon's wife calls me on Thursday. Simon died last night. Had a blood clot, massive heart attack. He's gone.
I remember you sharing this story, and I remember how devastated you were.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is happening like daily now. And we're talking about not like just dying. I mean, we're all gonna die, but
yeah,
these are things that are preventable. And there's people who will listen to us have this conversation that will do nothing, Susie. They will not like read the article. They will not reach out to you. They will not reach out to me, and they'll be gone. I don't know if you ever have those moments yet, because you're just hitting 40, right?
I just turned 40 this year.
Yeah. So I mean, you're like you're a new 40-year-old, but
Yeah.
in the next 10 years, Susie,
Yeah.
many people that you know, and you're gonna learn it because you're gonna see it on Facebook. You're gonna see RIP often because they're gonna die. Your people that you know, that you went to school with, they're gonna have blood clots, strokes, heart attacks. Some of them will like survive. They'll never be the same, and it's all stuff that could have been prevented. So get ready. I'm living it, and if you know a lot of people, then you're gonna see it a lot. If you know a few people, you're still gonna see it. You go, what? Was he the captain of the soccer team? and he's gone. There's no redo over. There's no let me try this differently. It's over. My buddy Simon's sitting there watching, going, he can't do shit.
Yeah.
All he can do is watch me have these talks, talk about he's somewhere.
Yeah.
and it's over. There's no Simon. There's no do over, bro.
There's no second chance. That's it.
And I love Simon. There's no. We laughed about shit. What we're talking about, we used to laugh about it. He's gone, and he left here at 53. He's out of here. His little 7-year-old son, who's now 10, will never get to know who his daddy is because Simon kept putting shit off. Kept saying, oh man, when I get my bit, then I'm gonna come out to Ventura. I'm gonna get to the Crown Plaza. I mean, he used to tell He used to tell me I'm gonna get a hotel and we're gonna be boot camp. Man, you're gonna train me. I'm gonna pay you. You're gonna train me. I'm gonna eat right. I'm gonna get this weight off of me. Okay,
Yeah,
Simon.
that day never came. Yep.
I'm like, Simon, we can start now, bro. Nah, you don't understand. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. And if you heard him, you go, he's full of life, full of energy. He's out of here. Gone. It's over. So here you are raising your HDL. The only thing you changed was you started taking a supplement called balance oil.
Yeah.
Tell us, Susie, what was it hard to take? Did it hurt?
No, especially because it's a shot, right? Like you take a shot. So no, it doesn't hurt. No, I mean it's so simple. I mean and I recently switched it up to taking it at night because I've learned more, right?
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. So
and that works out for you. You're able to be consistent.
You know what? Actually, I'm finding it a little bit of a better routine because my kids take it as well. So talk about simple, right? My 12-year-old takes it, my 17-year-old takes it. So I have been finding that because I switched it to the night, I'm doing this. I'm not skipping, right? So I'm making sure the kids are also getting it in too, because the kids I have to remind them, right? They're kids. So I'm actually finding it to be a better routine than the morning. So yeah.
See, my goal is I want to take it at night.
Okay.
Because one, we do know that there's better absorption. It could potentially help with sleep. The benefits are strong to do it at night compared to doing it in the morning or in the daytime, especially if you work out.
Right.
So yeah, I want to be more like you, Susie.
Okay.
No, seriously, I want to do it at night because the only reason why a person wouldn't do it at night is if they're drinking alcohol.
Okay.
Then it would defeat the purpose because alcohol blocks the benefits that come with the supplement of the balance oil. And that's not my opinion. That's Dr. Joseph Hibblin's very clear about that. And all the studies demonstrate that. Like if you had a beer or a glass of wine, of course that wouldn't, but it's like if you have a couple glasses of wine or a couple beers, then it could interfere with the omegas getting to the cell membrane and doing the positive work that they're known for doing.
Right.
So, and I'm not drinking right now, so yeah, it makes sense.
Hey, then might be a good time to start then, right?
Well, no, you're right. Okay. Now, okay, so now in your opinion, and as a nutritionist and as you're helping people, and for those of you who are looking for a nutritionist, you're looking for help, Susie's information is available. You can reach her through her website. So reach out to her because she is a good coach. Is there anything that you can share on top of what we've already talked about? I mean, we heard your personal experience with your own HDL cholesterol. Is there anything else that comes to mind that you would like to share with people that would help them take the next step and maybe learn more about the balance oil?
Take the next step as far as like if they're just interested. Yeah, I mean, they can definitely reach out to me. My website is there. On my website, I do have a video that kind of explains a little bit, gives a little bit of an introduction on what this is. Like, there's a test. We've talked about a test to find out where your levels are, where your omega-3 levels are, how inflamed you are, right? Because we're testing for omega-6 as well. And we're getting what's called the omega-6-3 ratio from this test, which is very important. So this video will introduce you to all of this information that maybe you're just you've never heard it. This is the first time you're hearing about it. But go to my website and check it out. And you can contact me. We can talk more. I can do a consultation. It's free. We can just, any questions that you may have. But I would say that's how you would find out more on this test and product. But yeah, I mean, the benefits that I have seen personally with my clients, friends, and family, and we're talking just one thing right now, just HDL, because it goes much further than that. We haven't even talked about triglycerides, which is really the bad cholesterol. But triglycerides, I'm seeing triglycerides going, from a very high number to being doubled, being cut in half within a matter of a few short months. I'm seeing that, I'm sure you've seen that too as well, Robert, but it's just amazing. It's amazing. I can keep talking about it, but
No,
yeah.
like if someone has high triglycerides and you share with them the balance oil and they choose not to get the balance oil, they don't care. Like there's some people that just don't care. Like, I mean, that's one of the hardest parts about being a nutritionist and doing the work that you and I do, Susie, is that you run across people that it seems like they don't care because you're offering them something that 1000% can help them. And they'll come up with all these reasons not to take the next step and actually make it part of their lifestyle. And I know part of that is that people, what do you call it? They're just, I don't know, they're over, like we're sold so many different things, and I get that, where it becomes like overwhelming. It's like, okay, I was told that before. Like everybody is selling something that has this promise. And so we just come across sometimes as maybe we're selling another thing that they've already tried a lot of things.
Right.
And that's where like your own story and the fact that you can actually share, data like this, right? And you can say, hey, here's the real deal. I wanted to improve my HDL. Now, if a person doesn't know what HDL is, you got to educate them. Okay. So now let's say they understand what HDL is and they understand how important it is and how positive it is when the numbers go up. When you share with them that you were at 46 on average for 10 years. I mean, let me just pause. Like, let me just stop. Like,
that sounds horrible.
But you know what I'm saying? Like 10 years.
Yeah.
And then you bring in a supplement. And then you go up 16 points.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, when I was on the call with that university that I was talking to you about, in the beginning of our conversation, I shared with her you. And I wish I could have recorded it because she was like 46 to 62. Yeah, HDL went up. All Susie did, the only thing different was that she started taking the balance oil. And we have data for 10 years where nothing changed with her HDL.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't 10 years. Now, the scientist who I'm talking to is educated. She's knowledgeable, right? She's informed. So for her, she's like, damn.
Yeah.
Like she's impressed.
Yep, it's impressing. Yeah, I mean,
That's why, like Susie, like our biggest challenge is not that we have we have a great product, a proven product. But the challenge is you're trying to introduce it to people who are not informed. They don't even understand the difference between an HDL and an LDL. So part of our success in helping this product be available to people and I would love your thoughts on this, because this is part of a question, is we got to educate them.
Yes.
Because they don't know what they don't know.
They don't know the importance. They don't know what it means. Yeah, and then if you don't know how to ask the right questions, right, when you're in that doctor's office, then you just kind of go with the doctor's, expertise. And what if that's not even what you're supposed to do?
Well, I would love to be in the office when you go to your doctor and do your next lab visit. Because you can say, "Hey, doc, can I bring something to your attention?" "Oh yeah, what's that, Susie?" Let's look at my track record as it pertains to my HDL. "Oh, you have it? Oh, here it is." Boom, you give it to him. "Can you see that May 2023, my HDL was 46? Yeah. And if you go back to 2015, it was 44. And you can see that at one point it got up to 49. But doc, do you realize I'm at 62 now?" Whoa! Your doctor's gonna be like, "What? Would you like to know how I did it, doc?" How could a doctor say, "I'm not interested"?
That's the really sad part, because I've already been in those types of conversations, right? Like when my dad got off blood pressure medication and now has a normal blood pressure, and he was on blood pressure medication for over 20 years. And when he, was pre-diabetic, and then he's not pre-diabetic anymore, and I had to have a conversation with the doctor because the doctor still wanted to keep him on meds, and the doctor didn't want to hear it. So that's what my experience has been so far with doctors. Even with some other clients that I have, they're not curious. They're not really like, how are you doing this, right? Because that would be my question. Like, how is this happening? Like, what is your approach? How are you helping people come off medications? How are you getting people's blood pressure into normal ranges and blood sugar into normal ranges and reversing diabetes, right? So it's frustrating, because I do want to see the curiosity in the medical community to start to think more preventative, start to think more reverse. How do we reverse some of these things? Get to the root cause of some of these conditions, and hopefully we'll get there, right, Robert? But it's like right now I'm not seeing it in my experience.
Well, right now, if I were anyone watching this, I would reach out to Susie, get a free consultation, learn what you can do. Because if you leave it up to your doctor, then you're a fool. Because you must become your own health advocate. And we showed you in this conversation about HDL cholesterol. We didn't go into detail of all the other benefits, from hair growth to helping kids who are autistic. I mean, there's so many things. And it's all lined up with the fact that we are living in a world where everyone who's watching this, for the most part, you have insufficient levels of omega-3 in your body and your brain. And if you don't correct it, you will experience many chronic health conditions. That's not my opinion. I wrote a paper on it, 65 citations. It's a fact. And there's people in my own family who live with neuropathy. And as you get older, that sucks. Can't really feel in your fingers, your toes. It's hard to walk. You feel like you're on pins and needles. I mean, it's horrible. And many of those people in my family, they won't hear me. And there's other people that I'm working with that are using the balance oil, Susie. And 9 months later, They don't have the same pins and needles that they're walking on. They are experiencing relief. But the people closest to me, people I love with all my heart, they don't hear me. And they're going to miss out. And their final days in life will be walking on pins and needles. That's not on me. That's on their ignorance and the fact that they live a life where they just concentrate on what their doctors tell them. And they bought into that belief that doctors know all, when I have many doctors who are my personal clients. And I can tell you right now, they don't know. They're my clients. So I don't have words.
Yeah, if they don't know, how can they help their patients?
I mean,
Yep.
and I do believe that they want to help people. I do believe that. I don't think that doctors are cynical or assholes, but sometimes their ego gets in the way of them saying, hey, that's not really my space. That's not what I do. That's not my expertise. They want to have answers for everything. And a lot of doctors fall prey to that because they earn the title of a doctor. It's like earning the title of a Marine and say, I can fight. Well, not every Marine can fight. I mean, as a former Marine, I can tell you that right now. Like, not every one of them can fight, but they did earn the title. And so people perceive the title as being something that means you can fight. And that doesn't mean, that's not necessarily true. So anyway.
Yep. Well, we got to keep doing what we're doing, right? Keep doing the work. So
yeah. And thank you earlier for sharing with me that technique you share with me as far as putting myself in a position where I could reach out to people and share with them how they could help me. And at the same time, I'm helping them. Right. So thank you, Susie. You're, and again, for those of you looking for a coach, if it's not me, you definitely need to reach out to Susie. Susie's a great coach. She'll be there. She'll meet you where you are. She'll help you out. She can help you with your nutrition. She can help you with all the things that we've been talking about. And she's just a good person. So her contact information is provided. So reach out to her. Any last words, Susie, before we say goodbye to everybody? And thank you for giving me this much time. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me here. And I just, I just want to say I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I recently had a traumatic event happen, and it just made me realize, tomorrow is not promised. It is not promised. And we got to make the most of every day. Every day is a gift. And, like you said earlier, quit putting off, right? Today's the day. Today's the day to make that happen, what you've been putting off. So that's all I got to say.
All right. Well, thank you, Susie. Thank you for making time. I know you're a busy lady and you don't always have time. So thank you for doing a live with me today.
Thank you, Robert. It was fun.
All right, you guys. Hey, I'm Robert Ferguson. I am a nutritionist, a guy who shares because he cares. And then you got to spend time with Susie Lopez, who's a nutritionist, health, and weight loss coach. Her information is provided, so reach out to her. Other than that, I'm going to say peace, Susie, and I will see you in our next call.
All right. Thank you, Robert.
All right, you guys. God bless everybody. The link to the article that I wrote about what we talked about today is there. And there's contact information for Susie as well as myself. So reach out to us and don't put it off, because you can actually be on your way to better health sooner than later. Okay. So take care, everybody. Until the next one, we got to go. Peace out.
There's a new way to see. No more counting calories, just living free. Robert Ferguson's got the plan you need. With diet-free life, it's the key. No more starving, getting rid of inflammation. choosing healthy choices, providing you with sound information, bringing balance to hormones and insulin through food. With DFL, teaching you food choices that see you through. DFL, we're teaching you to eat food right, teaching you to pair food with each bite, balancing our body's microbiome, feels so right.